Okay, before we begin, I would like to go through a couple different reasons why I like to use acrylics rather than using slump glass. Now, if you're not familiar with slump glass is a process where they take a piece of regular glass, they put it through a kiln, which heats it up to over 1,000 degrees. It gets it to almost the melting point and allows it to slump down into a mold. And this is the type of product that you get once that's done. You get a product, I don't know if you can see this, but you get a product that has a bit of a texture to it. And they make different molds, and so depending on the molds will depend on the type of texture that you'll get. And you can see, you look at it both sides, you can look at the back here. Now it does give it some dimension. It is a nice product, it's solid, and you know it's a good product. So there's a couple different things here, like this one. I mean, you get some different designs in it, and you can pick from a wide array of different styles, shapes, textures, colors, everything else. Now, one of the reasons why I like to use acrylics, and I wanted to share this valuable information with you, is because over the years I've developed a process where I can take a piece of solid, straight acrylic. This is a 1-inch piece of acrylic, and you know, it has the paper on it. This is considered a glass green acrylic. Now the finished product, when we get the finished product done, it's going to look exactly like this. It's going to have all the different features that slump glass would have, but without all the headaches. See, slump glass, if you were to do a project with slump glass, and say there was, for instance, we did a project in Eagle, Colorado, the Eagle County Justice Center. We had several sheets of this slump glass. It didn't have a radius edge on it like this, or a jagged edge, but it was just square cut pieces. The thing is that we had these intricate holes that were drilled into each piece of glass. And the holes, we only had about 3/32 of plate for our clips to actually fit in the glass and to anchor it to the steel that they had in place. So here's how the process worked. First off, you would have to go to the job site, take several different measurements. We had to get measurements between the steel. We had to get the height measurement. We had to figure out how the gaps were in between so that all the holes would be drilled exactly at the factory so that everything would fit. Now mind you, our cost on these panels, they were a little bit over 8 foot wide and they were a little bit over 4 foot tall. Our cost on these panels were over $4,000 per panel. Now, the interesting thing about this was there's really no messing up there. You have to have all those holes perfect, and if there's something wrong, it's back to the drawing board. So we went out, got all of our intricate details, we figured everything out to the T. So once you get those intricate details figured out, the next step is you send it over to the slump glass factory. They make you sign off to make sure that everything is going to be fitting, that everything is according to your dimensions. So you're relying on maybe your engineer, your guy in the field, maybe yourself if you go out there to measure it. Once you sign off on that, here's how the process works. For that particular application, they have to have the glass cut at the factory because we have out conditions. Things were out a little bit on each side, so we have all these different out conditions. The glass is cut at the factory. Then the glass is transported over to the slump glass factory where they actually have to go through a process where they put it in a kiln, they heat it up over 1,000 degrees, it slumps into a mold, they take it out, they let it dry at a certain rate to where it can anneal the glass and let it cool. Then they take that annealed glass, they run it back to the factory, they have them drill the holes in the glass, have the beveled holes and everything put in the glass. Then it has to go through the tempering process so that they can temper it. It considers it safety glass. It goes back to the slump glass factory. They call you, they either deliver it or you go and pick it up. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of lead time. In most cases, you're waiting for maybe a month, maybe 2 months to get that type of glass. Now, the process that I put together, you can actually take the sheets of raw acrylic, take them out to the job site, and actually even fabricate them on the job site if you choose. Or you can fabricate them at the shop, and maybe you just drill a couple holes, get the top set, and then you drill the other 2 holes when you get out to the job site. So you know everything fits properly, you don't have any problems with it. Say a piece gets messed up, you don't have to wait months and months at a time. If your local distributor has it in stock, you can go down to your local distributor, pick up another sheet, and cut it right there. There's no having to go to the factory, having to get the holes drilled, having to go back through the tempering machine, having to go back to the slump glass factory. All done in-house. You can control it, you can determine your lead times, and you make the profits. So let's start building some pieces and show you exactly how this works. I'm super excited to share this. I've always been happy every time I put a piece out. It always gets me excited to put a really cool piece out because people enjoy it. And I know that I was able to design it, and now I can show you how to do the exact same thing. So let's start making a piece, shall we?